What is going on, guys? It's SPT Killerwood. I'm coming back at you again. As you can see today, I'm bringing you something a little bit different. If you've been following my channel for the past year or so, you've seen that I've kind of went through a little transition. I was in the comic books, still loved all that stuff, but just had to let that go. It just got way too much, and there's no point really spending a lot of money just for books to be sitting there on my shelf. Then I kind of got into RCs. And, I have some subscribers that was into the RC stuff. And I mean, that stuff was really cool. I loved it. But at the same time, there again, spending a lot of money. Even though, what you see before you right here, what I'm saying, it can still be quite a good bit of money as well. But, my love has always been for video games ever since I was little. So, I started out with the Atari 2600. And, and now currently, I play PS4. But, so what I decided was I'm going to start doing a PS3 collection. You might be saying to yourself, well, why PS3? Well, why not? PS3 has an amazing games, a ton of games. I'm trying to actually get the complete run. So we're going to break it down here real quick and just kind of show you what I have right now. All these games I've kind of amassed just in a matter of a couple of weeks. But yeah, so let's go. So first up, we got the Assassin's Creed 1. Unfortunately, I got the greatest hits copy, but I will be trying to, go and get a regular copy because I can tell you as of right now, I don't want greatest hits and I don't want red cases. I want all the original, incomplete, complete boxed, with the manuals and all that. I mean, as you can see, we got the, the manual and all that with it, the game. That's what I'm gonna try to go for. My OCD tells me I have to have it all complete. So, I know some of the PS3 games didn't have, manuals, but the majority of them do, or at least inserts. But anyway, we got Assassin's Creed 2, which by far today is still one of the best ones ever made. Got Assassin's Creed 3. I got it when it came out, and still really haven't played too much of it. I just, for some reason, didn't like the way the beginning of it all went, and I got to go back and give that some more play time. Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. Man, this one was also made by the people who made 2. And by far, it is another one of the greatest, Assassin's Creed games. I love the whole pirate aspect. And then we have the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Some of these cases, they're kind of messed up a little bit, or the cover art's just a little messed up, or it might have some residue. And I got to get some stuff to get that off, or either just, find some more cases, because some of them are a little bit yellowed. And that just kind of irks me too. I want this stuff to look nice and complete. Got the Assassin's Creed Revelations. Now, a lot of these games I bought when they all came out, back when I was playing PS3, and then like an idiot, when PS4 came out, I got rid of all my PS3 stuff, which I wish now I never would have done. But what is interesting is, though, is this game, when I got this one, again, I noticed that it has 3D glasses with it. And I don't ever recall remembering mine when I bought it new having the 3D glasses. So I don't know if maybe if that was like a store exclusive or what. But yeah, nonetheless, got the 3D glasses with it. Batman Arkham City, another really good game. I still got to get Arkham Asylum again. But that's what you're going to tune in to see. Hopefully to see what I'll be picking up. Batman Arkham Origins. Out of the 3, they say this is the weakest one. I actually never did play this one, so I still got to play it. So I can, judge for myself whether or not if this one is the weakest out of the 3. Next up, we have Bioshock 1. And to me, Bioshock was one of the best games that came out on PS3, even though it was released on 360 first, which I had. But to me, it's still, this game is just, it's one of my top 5 games of all time. I love Bioshock. And then we have the, Bioshock 2, which I love this one too. A lot of people didn't like this one for some reason. To me, so basically, this one had a lot of story, had the gameplay, but this one was story focused, whereas this one was almost all action focused, and the story was, so. If they could have, made like another one and combined the story from this one, the action from this one, and made a third one, then that'd have been on point. Next up, we have Bioshock Infinite. This was a good game, but there again, I didn't care for it as much as the other two. Just the whole new setting up in the clouds, the city, the skyhook. To me, it just didn't. They tried. You know what I'm saying, but it just didn't have quite the Bioshock feel to it. It was still a good game. Don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't as good as, in my opinion, is what is good. Then we have the Bioshock Infinite Complete Edition, which has all the DLC with it. Got that for a really good price. Why not? Next up, another good game I love is the Borderlands series. So I got Borderlands 1. And then to top that off, the best one out of them so far was Borderlands 2. I'm still waiting on the Borderlands 3 like everybody else. But yeah, Borderlands 2 was awesome. And then we have Borderlands, the pre-sequel. This one, I just could not really get into. I mean, the whole having to use the oxygen levels and the tanks and the air and all that, and the way, the way your character kind of jumped with the floatiness of the, I couldn't really get into this one. I mean, it was still good, but I just couldn't quite get into it. Next up, I have Black Ops 1. Now, like I said, at one time, I had all the Call of Duty games. So now my goal is to try to go back and get all these games that I had before and then some. But yeah, Black Ops 1. Next up is the Call of War as the Cartel. I can't quite remember if I've played this one. I know I played the first Call of War as game, which was like a Western. It was pretty good, so I'll go give this one a try and see what's up with it. All right, that's the first stack. I'm kind of going to go through this a little bit quick because I just don't want to spend too much time sitting here trying to talk about every single game. So next up I have is Crysis 3, the Hunter Edition. And yeah, you can see my cover art is all kind of messed up. So that one I'll be looking for another case. Next up is Dark Souls 1. Awesome game. Still got to get all these stickers off and probably just get another case because some of these stickers, man, if you don't get these stickers off when you first get them, and they just leave them on them, then it just, yeah, y'all know how the GameStop stickers go. Them things are a pain in the ass sometimes to try to take off. Next up is Dark Souls 2, which, here's the greatest hits collection. The majority of these games, I bought as a lot because I went back and rebought another PS3. It was a 300 gig slim. Well, it had a hard drive put in it, but the system came with 22 games. So some of these games were part of that, and then I've bought some games since then as well. But all these games that I'm showing you, they're about, I've got them, within the past 3 weeks. So I'll go back and get another case for this one and get the actual regular disc because I just don't want these red greatest hit cases in my collection. To me, these greatest hits just don't hold the value as the regular ones do. Then I have the Dead Island Riptide Special Edition. I played it when it first came out, but didn't ever really give it too much of a chance. I know they were saying that it's not quite as good as the first one, which the first one was really good. All right, next up we have Dead Space 1. Awesome game. I mean, if you ain't played Dead Space by now, then you've been living under a rock. This game is, sci-fi horror. It's really good. Then I have Dead Space 2, the limited edition. Just another good one. Wasn't quite as good as the first one, but it was still really, really good. It seemed like it almost kind of pulled the whole Bioshock with the, less story in one, more action in the other, and so. Dead Space 3, it was probably the weakest one out of the three. I don't know what sometimes these games that come in 3 always seems to be, but I still enjoyed it. It just wasn't quite as good as the other one. To another game that is one of my favorite games all time, Demon's Souls. This game punished you from start to end, and it was not forgiving. You know what I'm saying? And when I first got this game, I played it for, a couple of days, and I was like, hell with this game. I'm done with it. I stuck it on my shelf. A month or so went by. I got it back out, and I said, you know what? I'm going to try to give it another try. And I'm glad I did, because once I learned how to play this game and learned how it was, it's quite possibly one of the best games that I've ever played. And that speaks volume. I just really wish that Sony would, make a Demon Souls 2. Another game I got here, Destiny 1. I played it on PS4, played it ridiculously. We all know how Destiny is, and I even got 2, and I'm pretty disappointed, so I'm done with Destiny altogether and never going back to it. Diablo 3, The Reaper of Souls, awesome game. A lot of these games I've played on PS4, so, but yeah, Diablo 3. Next up is Dishonored. Another really good game. I still haven't finished it yet, so yeah, Dishonored. Next up is Dragon's Crown, made by Atlas. It's one of these games that are going to be really hard to find on down the road. They did remaster this for the PS4 as well. But if you ever seen the Atlas games, I mean, you got to pick them up because once they're here, they're gone, and it's hard to find them. So definitely Dragon's Crown. Another good RPG game that came out was Dragon's Dogma. It was really fun. I enjoyed this game. There again, you had to kind of, a little bit of a learning curve to have to play it, but once you got it, they figured it out. Really, really good game. Next up is Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Another really good game. I love the Bethesda games, but sometimes their combat just kind of feels a little outdated, trying to play it in first person. So a lot of times, I just explored in first person, and then when it came to the fighting, I just clicked it over to the third person and, played that way because it just seemed it was a bit easier to manage in third person just, because of the clunkiness. So, I mean, Bethesda definitely needs to update their engines. Next up, we have Fallout New Vegas. This one was done by Obsidian. I love New Vegas. A lot of people didn't like it, but, I mean, I thought New Vegas was really good. Next up, we have Far Cry 3. Just an awesome game from Far Cry. I'd still say that Far Cry 3 is one of the best ones they've made. I mean, this dude right here, was it Vargas? I believe that was his name. Just him being like a villain, so to speak, the bad guy in the game, just, he killed it. You know what I'm saying? Awesome game. Next up, I have the God of War Ascension. It was probably one of the weakest ones out of the series, but still a good game nonetheless. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I liked it. Any God of War game is good to me. So next up is Hitman Absolution. Yeah, I still got to finish this one. I played a little bit of it. Then I just kind of got sidetracked playing other stuff when it first came out. So I don't really have much time on this game. So I still got to go back and, play some more of it. But it's not as good as Blood Money. Blood Money to me is always going to be the best Hitman game. Kane and Lynch 2, Dog Days. The Kane and Lynch series didn't get enough love. I love the Kane and Lynch series. I mean, it was just, kind of crazy over the top. I love the dialogue back and forth between the two. One of them was just like a psycho, if I remember correct, and one of them was, I forget what he was, but I loved them. You know what I'm saying? They were just crazy. And I still kind of wish they'd make another one, but who knows? Then we have the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 remix. I mainly bought these for my girlfriend. I don't really play the Kingdom Hearts. She's all into it, and she's waiting for the third one. So, but yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1.5, and then I got the Kingdom Hearts 2.5. So, those are basically for her. Another game that's really underrated was the Kingdom of Amalur Reckoning. It's a really good game, good RPG. Unfortunately, this was the only game the studio made because they had some legal trouble. So now, they're done. So if you ever see this game, it's going, it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's a harder one to find, but you definitely don't see a lot of copies of it sitting on a shelf. You might see one, and so. And then the all famous Lair, which a lot of people hated this game when it first came out. You had to use the 6-axis controls to, maneuver the dragon and play with it like that, which it was kind of hard at first, but later they actually went back and patched the game to where you could use the analog controls with the controller and all that. So it definitely made the game a lot easier to play and more manageable. So the game wasn't horrible by any means. It's just, you know, it wasn't the best game out either, but it was one of the mediocre games you could still play and have a little bit of fun with, and you know, go from there. All right. And the last set of games that I have to show you, Last of Us by Naughty Dog. This is probably the best game that came out on PS3. You know, I mean, I know a lot of people love the Uncharted series, but Last of Us, man, it was just awesome. You know, I played it on PS3. I played it on PS4. It's just a really good game. I mean, there's just not enough good things you can say about it. And then I have the, I'm missing the little slipcover thing that goes with it, but it's the Mass Effect trilogy. This was the only way that you could get, you know, Mass Effect 1 on disc, basically, but it comes with Mass Effect 2 and 3 also, which, you know, Mass Effect, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people love it. Some hate it. Some just want to, you know, bicker about which ones is good and all that. But I enjoyed them. So. Now, Andromeda, not so much. The newest one, yeah, they can go throw that shit out in the garbage. Next up is Metro Last Light. It's a really good game. I still haven't finished it yet. I played it when it first came out. Didn't get too far into it, but I definitely like the premise of it. You know, trying to manage your oxygen and your battery levels and all that in your mask and all that, and it's definitely a cool game. I mean, you know, just got to finish it. Then we got some sports titles. MLB The Show 2012. I ain't talking about that. I got MLB 13. You know, if you're going to try to collect the games, you got to have all of them too, including the fucking sports titles. Next up is Ni no Kuni, The Wrath of the White Witch. I'm in the middle of actually right now playing this. Really good game so far. Definitely a long-ass game. So if you've got, you know, 80 hours to 100 hours to sit down and invest in the game, this is definitely one you want to play if you love RPGs. The animation, just the art style, the colors of it is just awesome. Next up is the Ratchet & Clank HD Collection, which comes with Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal and Going Commando. These were all three remastered from the PS2 games. You know, this one right here is kind of even hard to find. And if, you know, if you're going to get it, you're going to spend, you know, $25-$30, you know, so even still today. Next up is Red Dead Redemption. Just an amazing game that came out by Rockstar. You know, Red Dead Redemption 2 was about to drop here in a couple months, and everybody's looking forward to it. The new gameplay trailer they just showed looks amazing. I'll definitely be playing that when it comes out. But I gotta still try to find the slip cover that came with this as well, because I know when I bought it brand new, you know, it had the slip cover that kind of folded out, and this one does have the map and the book and all that with it, so it is complete minus the slip cover. All right. Next up, we have Resistance: Fall of Man. There again, I gotta find the original copy because I don't like these red cases. Awesome game. I love the Resistance series. And then we have Resistance 2. And then I have Resistance 3. I'm still holding my breath for them maybe to come back and either reboot it or, you know, make a Resistance 4. Next up is the Resonance of Fate. Resonance of Fate, however you want to pronounce it. I haven't played this one yet, but I have heard that it is really good. So I just recently picked this up. So yeah. I think I got it for like maybe $10, something like that. And then we get into some games that I haven't played, but I've been seeing them on everybody's YouTube videos, and it seems like these are the ones that you want to get because, you know, once they're gone, you're not going to be able to find them, or you're going to be paying a lot more money for them. But that is the Tales of Grace's F. I don't know anything about, you know, these games, minus, you know, that they're RPGs. So I'm going to dive into these and see how these are, but nothing but good things is from what I've heard. From that one, the Tales of Symphonia Chronicles. I believe this was like originally a GameCube game, possibly. Don't really know too much. But I got that one. Then I found the limited edition of Tales of Zilla. It's got everything in it, that comes with it. Even the soundtrack, the art book, and all that stuff. And the soundtrack is still like sealed. Everything's in really good shape. Got this one for a really good price at my store here. Here again, I don't know nothing about this, but it's called Time and Eternity. I just know it's an NIS game, and I know that these NIS games, kind of like the Atlas games, they're kind of hard to find, and once they're gone, they're gone. So that was, I only paid like $7 or $8 for it, but it's one of these games that you just don't really see too much, in a store. Next up, we have Uncharted 1, awesome game. Uncharted 2, which is even better. Uncharted 3, which was really good. Out of the three, it seems like everybody's favorite's always the second one. I also have, Uncharted 4 as well, which is really good. And then I've got the Lost Legacy, which still a little bit late behind on it, but I haven't played it, but I heard it's pretty good as well. Then I have the Untold Legends, Dark Kingdom. This was a launch title when the system came out in 2006. Even these games are kind of hard to find now, some of the launch titles. I haven't really played it. I kind of messed around with it back when I first got it, 10 years ago or so, but I couldn't even tell you anything else about it. I think it's like a dungeon crawler kind of, so to speak. So who knows? One day I might pop this in and see what's up with it. Another game that I got is Vanquish. I've been looking for this game, for a physical copy, complete, with the book and all that with it. Vanquish was awesome. Back in the day, they released this on PlayStation Plus as a free game, and I got a copy of it as well, but I wanted the physical copy, and, they need to make a part 2 to this game. You know what I'm saying? Vanquish is awesome. And then last up was the Walking Dead Game of the Year edition. I believe it's season 1 with the extra little 400 days or whatever DLC with it. I've already played all this. It was with the system when I got it, so it's kind of like a Game of the Year edition, or whatever. And that's all I have right now as far as what I have. I do have another video that's coming up. That'll be after this one. Will be what I picked up this past weekend, and I'm going to try to start that video moving forward, like hopefully maybe a video each week of my pickups. It might be a lot, might be only a handful. So, if you like what you see, I know I'm just now starting to dive into this whole going back, collecting games and doing all this mess. But, if you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button, hit that little notification bell, that way you'll keep informed, when I make videos. And until next time, guys, it's SPT Killerwood, and I'm out. Peace.